Just how much of an economic driver is the British monarchy for the UK economy? Good morning and welcome to Business Week. It's the end of the first trading week of May, and over the next hour, I'll be bringing you some of the top market stories that made headlines this week. And later on, our UK correspondents will join us as we talk about the ongoing coronation of King Charles III, while some guests in the studio will discuss the impact of the coronation and the monarchy on the UK economy. I'm Rolake Akinkugbe Filani. Stay tuned. First, let's begin with a look at how the markets performed this week around the world. First, to European markets, as at Friday, 5th of May. Euro Stoxx 600 closed at an all-share index of 465.31, up by 1.08%. The London FTSE all-share index closed at an all-share index of 7,778.3. It was up by 0.98%. The markets in Germany saw the DAX close at 15,961.02, up by 1.44%, while the Paris markets ended the week at 7,432.93, gaining 1.26. And finally, IBEX 35 in Spain closed at 1.08% higher with an all-share index of 9,147.3. It was the last market closing in positive. Now to the Nigerian stock markets as at Friday, the 5th of May. A total of 482.5 million shares in 5,298 deals, corresponding to a market value of 5.6 billion naira, were traded. The current market capitalization of the NSE is 28.57 trillion naira. And finally, here's a look at Wall Street as at Friday, the 5th of May. Well, you're seeing live images here on screen of the coronation of King Charles III. You've been watching images of former British Prime Ministers arrive at Westminster, and you're now seeing some heads of states and government from the Commonwealth also arrive in grand style with pomp and circumstance. You may also have seen just a few minutes earlier pictures of the immediate past Prime Ministers of the UK, Boris Johnson. We also saw Tony Blair and former First Lady Cherie Blair. Also, the colorful array of Commonwealth flags. This is obviously a really important part of the structure of the United Kingdom and Great Britain. The Commonwealth has quite a long and extensive history. There on our screen right now is Prime Minister Rishi Sunak about to arrive, and that's actually a good indication that we will soon be starting this grand ceremony of the coronation of King Charles III of Great Britain and Northern Ireland. There on our screen is Prime Minister, the first British Prime Minister of Indian descent there on our screens. This is quite actually an iconic moment. Well, the first coronation in 70 years takes place today with King Charles III and the Queen Consort preparing for the historic carriage ride to Westminster Abbey. Don't worry, Business Week fans, we're still talking business, so here's the angle. Said to be worth £7 billion, the House of Windsor, that is the British royal family, helps earn hundreds of millions for Britain's economy, with just two locations such as Windsor House and Frogmore Cottage raking in quite a lot. But other locations like the Royal Mills, Clarence House, the Palace of Holyrood Rose, and the Queen's Gallery also generate significant tourism revenue for the UK. The royal family also generates additional revenue via the Royal Collection and the Crown's estate. Gift shop sales of the Royal Collection, for instance, made almost £20 million in a single year, according to the UK Independent. And in 2022, a record 3.2 million people visited the official residences of the royal family, generating approximately £50 million. On the flip side, Republic, an organization that lobbies for an elected head of state, has estimated the total annual cost of the monarchy to be £345 million. Is the UK monarchy a great return on investment for the UK? Well, joining me now to discuss the economic impact of the monarchy on the UK's economy is Izu Uwalma, founder of Hexavia. Great to have you with me in the studio today, Izu.
Thank you for having me.
So, I asked that big question. Is the UK monarchy a great return on investment?
Absolutely yes. Absolutely yes.
Why do you say so?
Especially when you look at the non-tangibles, right? So one of the most identifiable and unique brand equity of the British people, apart from, of course, on a lighter note, the accents, the double-deck red buses, and then the red both. One thing that's really identifiable is the monarchical system, right? So it's really important in itself. So if you ask me, I think that that investment on the brand equity, to sustain that brand equity through that asset, is powerful. I mean, 100 plus or less, 100 million spent, gives them about 345 million back. So that's good return on investment, if you ask me. And that's just the direct, but the non-tangibles is always why it's more valuable.
Yeah, that's a very important point on the non-tangibles. There's also, of course, like you said, the brand value. And we have some really interesting figures here. I don't know if we can show it on screen here about just how much they're spending and how that's broken down. It seems like the property, the physical asset, the real estate side of the British monarchy is really worth a lot, and it takes quite a lot to maintain. And some have argued, actually, that given where the UK is economically and giving the headwinds, that it's going to take a lot to convince people about the long-term sustainability of the monarchy.
Yeah,
but we'll come back to that discussion in a short while. I also have joining me from London, actually, is Arise international correspondent Judita Da Silva, who's in our studios and can give us a perspective on how this affects the rest of the world, what prepping for the royal coronation has been like, and what the atmosphere and mood generally is in the UK at the moment. So over to you, Judita.
Hi. Yes, I was just listening to what you were saying, and it's very true, and it's very much on point. The royal family gives a lot of bang for their buck when events like this happen, because when you think about tourism, just going through London, the number of tourists, particularly from the Middle East, from the Far East, China, from the Americas, have all flown in specifically to be around this coronation, particularly the procession. All the biggest hotels, if you know London, the most expensive ones are around a Park Lane area. They're around just where Buckingham Palace is. Those are all booked up, everything from the Dorchester and beyond. And that's how much money is being pumped into the country because people are so fascinated by the royal family. So economically, they're a fantastic asset for the country to have. But when you think about the investments going in, reportedly about £250 million being paid for this coronation, does it offset the actual, what's going out? Does it offset what's coming in? Once the tally is done after the coronation, that will be decided. But what we're watching now is the beginning of what's going to be truly magical moments where you see King Charles III and Queen Camilla in the Diamond Jubilee coach. This is significant because they're supposed to have taken the gold state coach traditionally, which is a lot more uncomfortable. This coach, at just under 5.5 meters, was built in Australia in 2012 to mark 60 years of Queen Elizabeth II. It's air-conditioned and a lot more comfortable. We see this beginning of the procession is something quite special for that couple you see in there, because Camilla's son said that one thing about her is, despite everything people say, what she's been through as far as public opinion goes, she stays constant and she stays committed and she doesn't complain. We know the leitmotif of the royal family is don't complain, don't explain. Camilla does not complain and she does what needs to be done, and her sitting by King Charles is something that will bring him a lot of comfort and security in what is the biggest day of his life.
Yes, indeed. Thank you very much, Judita, for those insights. And of course, like you said, what we're seeing here now is the King Charles III, and the Queen Consort, Camilla, who appear to be arriving and proceeding towards the cathedral.
watching now is what has been years in the making and weeks in practicing. There are 4,000